Trevor Bauer must be one special guy because I think he's the first ever person to be featured twice on this video in separate videos. Previously, we did why he's the most controversial person in sport. Today, it's why Japan loves him because he has moved to Japan and apparently he's thriving over there, according to the title of this video. But we're going to find out. If you haven't seen that previous video, do go and watch it, or go and watch it in the link in the description from the actual original video without my reaction. You're very much welcome to do that as well. Subscribe, comment, give the video a like, all that good stuff. Let's dive in. Let's find out why Japan loves him.
Trevor Bauer was handed one of the biggest suspensions in MLB history. Lost over $35 million in salary and was essentially blackballed from MLB. But is this fair?
I know a lot of athletes that did a lot of things 10 times worse.
If their claims had any similarity to the claims of the most recent...
What's that drawing behind this woman? What is that? Bet she paid... Either a kid's done it for her, or she's... No, it looks a bit weird for a kid to draw that, doesn't it? Or is it like a super expensive painting that's terrible? Sorry, we're getting away from the point here, but what is that behind her?
This is bogus.
4 separate people have come out against Bauer with claims of abuse. He's been in multiple lawsuits, but his suspension was cut, and he has been reinstated by MLB. However, his reputation is so bad in America, despite MLB teams having the opportunity to sign a $32 million pitcher for the league minimum, they all said no. Because to them, the public outcry wasn't worth it. Instead, Bauer went to Japan, where just in the first few months, there's already been a public
sword celebration called disrespectful by Japanese teammate, or being a samurai out there.
Conflict between him and his teammate over a celebration. According to reports in America, Bauer has already been sent down to the minors due to poor performance, and news of yet another person
faces another assault allegation which he denies. He choked out and slapped someone in the face.
Making graphic claims against Bauer have gone public. Despite all of this, Bauer is still loved in Japan. There's a 70-story billboard with him on it. He set viewership records. His merchandise has sold out, and he attracted more fans to a game than anyone in the team's history. His reputation in Japan remains extremely positive, even after incidents like this. Bauer found himself in a close game versus the Dragons. The first runner reached on this play between the first and second baseman. The next base runner reached on this bunt. Bauer fielded it, but the throw was up the line. He bounced back and got weak contact. There were 2 outs, but the fast runner made the second baseman go to third. The runners were caught, but instead of the catcher throwing it to third to get them in a rundown, he for some reason held on to it, looked like he got confused, and then waited way too long to throw it to second. When he got the ball, nobody was covering first, and everybody was safe. Bauer started screaming uncontrollably. The manager came out to calm him down, but he just kept screaming uncontrollably. Finally, Bauer calmed down, got the last batter to ground back to him, and instead of throwing the ball to the first baseman, he sprinted to first and touched it himself. Tried to throw the ball over the netting, walked to the dugout screaming "F**k" and telling his teammates to wake up, going directly into the clubhouse. This video was posted on Twitter in Japanese and was met by dozens of tweets praising Bauer. The same video was posted in English and was met with a ton of criticism by people who saw this as him throwing his teammates under the bus. However, only 3 years earlier, Bauer did something very...
I mean, it's a bit of both in that situation, isn't it, really? Like, his teammates have had an absolute shocker and he's angry at him. Like... Because it's his stats at the end of the day that you're affecting, right, as well. Like, you're affecting his stats. He's angry. He's not angry on a personal level. He's angry because you're not doing your job properly. So I kind of get that. But at the same time, they are your teammates, so you shouldn't. Again, I like it when people don't display it in the public. Sort it out in the changing room after the game. So I see both sides of the coin on this one.
Similar to his teammate Joey Votto, and there was a completely different reaction. In a 2-0 game, Votto made this error. The Pirates went on to get a hit, then scored 3 runs on a triple and a wild pitch. Bauer went on to storm into the dugout, appearing to be mad and calling out Joey Votto for not making this play. Unlike the play in Japan, this play garnered barely any attention whatsoever, and the few people who did comment were praising Bauer for calling out the bad defense. This shows just how much Bauer's reputation has taken a hit over the past 3 years. However, Bauer was controversial the second he entered the league. As a rookie, he stood out by doing an insane hour-long warm-up routine requiring him to long toss up to 450 feet on the day of his starts, as well as getting a running start and throwing a ball as fast as he could at his catcher before the inning. His catcher thought this was pointless and would, quote, end up killing someone. His team didn't seem to be on board with his methods and ended up trading him. Bauer shortly after released a rap song that was perceived by many as a diss track against his catcher because of a line that read, quote, "You hide behind a mask to facilitate a task, but you don't know me." Bauer, however,
you hide behind a mask to facilitate that task, but you don't know me. We need to do a reaction to the Trevor Bauer what do you call it, diss track. 100% we'll get that done. I need to make a note of that.
Whoever says this song was not directed at anyone specifically. When Bauer went to Cleveland, he emerged as a great pitcher, but also got in hot water for crashing his drone into the team's scoreboard.
Okay, guys, I've cut a lot of this reaction out. We're jumping back in here just because a lot of the stuff it's covering we've seen in a previous video about why he's the most controversial player. No shots at this YouTube channel. I love baseball doesn't exist. Made for great videos. I just needed to cut that stuff out. We're not reacting to the same thing twice. Let's go.
Making him eligible for the 2023 season. The Dodgers, who are required to pay Bauer, released him anyway. Meaning, Bauer was so controversial, the Dodgers are paying him $22 million not to play for the Dodgers.
Sign me up,
Since
Dodgers.
The Dodgers are required to pay his salary, that means all 29 other teams were able to sign Bauer, a Cy Young pitcher, for the league minimum. This would have been the best value deal in baseball by far, and every single team said no, because that's how bad the backlash would have been. Instead, Bauer announced he was going to play in Japan, where so far he's had the complete opposite reaction.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Bauer arrived in Japan and was officially introduced as a Bay Star, wearing jersey number 96
Over
because
the shirt,
according to him, he wants to average a 96-mile-per-hour fastball this year. It also may because it's the closest number to 69, similar to when he requested a contract worth $6,420,969.69 from the Indians. Bauer.
I want to know how old he was when he did that, because if he was above 25, I don't even know how old he is now. Then it's a bit childish, isn't it? Come on.
Also requested that he could wear number 69 for the Bay Stars, but they declined. During the press conference, Bauer didn't receive a single question about his MLB suspension from Japanese media. The only time he was asked was by AP. Bauer responded by saying that he wasn't suspended and that the reason why he was playing in Japan was because that was always his dream. During the press conference, they also announced that they were starting a Trevor Bauer fan club that cost over $15,000 just to join. The Bay Stars are allowing Trevor Bauer fans access to a Bauer Talk event, a meet and greet with Bauer which includes a photo and autograph session, an assortment of Trevor Bauer merch, an autograph ball in a special case, a game-worn autograph jersey,
they're making the most
a
out of
special
this.
Trevor Bauer fan club ballpoint pen, a Trevor Bauer fan club plaque, a limo ride for you and 6 of your friends to go to one game and sit in a special lounge with free food, and also get 2 regular tickets to every home game that happens after May. All for 2.2 million yen.
Oh, so that's $15,000. I mean, $15,000 is crazy. It's a crazy price for a fan club, but they're actually providing something there, right? You get the sweet experience and stuff, and the 2 tickets for every home game. It's not that bad, in all honesty.
According to American reports by AP, Bauer's signing was met with, quote, little reaction in Japan. That doesn't really seem to be the case. There were posters all over the city, including one that was 7 stories tall.
Mad.
His first game was in the minor leagues. Typically, about 500 people come to these games. When Bauer pitched, there were 2,600. Usually, about 5,000 people watched the live stream. When Bauer pitched, there were 77,000 people watching live. But it wasn't long until reports came out that Bauer had already pissed off one of his teammates who called him out publicly for being disrespectful. That was according to multiple American outlets and was referring to the
Don't trust the sun.
sword celebration. When a batter tries to check their swing but can't and ends up striking out, Bauer does this. It started in America, and some people thought it was a little much.
And he went around with it. Strike 3. Celebrates on the mound. It's weak.
Bauer did this in the very first inning he pitched against a minor leaguer. He continued to do it, and when his first big league start was approaching, his team released a video encouraging it.
When I get a strikeout, I do the sword celebration. Please join me in doing the celebration.
His teammate responded to this video in a tweet that was translated and published by American outlets as saying, quote, "Don't be an idiot. That is disrespectful. There are better ways to go about this." In Japan, major news outlets reported that American outlets had translated the tweet wrong and left out part of the tweet, saying that Yamasaki was aiming the criticism at the team for promoting the celebration, but not Bauer personally for doing the celebration. But even if this tweet was directed
Kind of the same thing,
at
though,
the
isn't it?
team's Twitter account, the fact that he didn't want the team promoting it led fans in both countries to guess he probably wasn't a massive fan of Bauer doing the sword celebration. This tweet was soon deleted. The Bay Stars released a statement. Yamasaki released an apology saying his words were translated wrong and that he welcomed Bauer, and even later gifted Bauer a samurai sword. A few weeks later, when Bauer started pitching in real games, his teammate did the samurai sword celebration with him. Bauer tweeted this clip and wrote, quote, "But the American media still wants you to believe my teammates hate me and think my sword celebration is racist."
It's clearly not racist, right? If he was doing it before he even went to Japan, if it's been a thing for a while, it's nothing to do with the fact that he's in Japan that he's doing it. Like, that's just stupid to say it's racist. It's not doing it because he's in Japan. Come on, man.
After a few minor league starts, Bauer made his big league debut, and it was madness. The 7-story billboard was erected. Attendance at Yokohama Stadium was higher than it had been in history. According to the vendors, Bauer's t-shirt and towel sold out immediately, and his name was the top trend on Twitter in Japan. Bauer took the mound, gave up only 1 run, and struck out 9 hitters in 7 innings in an environment that he said was more electric than when he pitched in the World Series. He was selected as hero of the game, was placed on the back of a pickup truck, and shot t-shirts at all the fans while being cheered well after the game was over. After that, his time in Japan took a turn for the worse.
Of course.
The only run Bauer gave up in his first start was a solo homer. This video circulated on Twitter and caught media attention in Japan when Justin Verlander liked the tweet. People in Japan speculated Verlander was rooting against Bauer, and a lot of people in America were. He had a rough second start, giving up 7 runs in 7 innings. In his next start, Bauer had what he describes as the worst game of his career, giving up 7 runs in only 2 innings. He had an 8.5 ERA, and news broke in America that he had been demoted to the minor leagues. This spread like wildfire in the States, but according to Bauer, his team had a rainout that caused his start to get pushed back. And instead of having to wait 11 days to pitch, he asked his team if he could pitch a game in the minors while he waited, which was the real reason he went to the minor leagues. During
this just shows that you can't trust the media, man. It's mad, innit? They just make up a story and they just run with it, and it just catches on.
Minor league start, he gave up a bomb to the very first batter he faced. This video went viral in America and was watched over 3 million times. Bauer held his opponent scoreless for the rest of the game in a successful start, but afterwards said he owed the fans, his teammates, and his team an apology because he felt like his attitude during the game was, quote, disrespectful to the game of baseball. baseball. Bauer returned to the big league club and got back on track, dominating hitters as expected. But on June 14th, the last thing Bauer wanted to happen happened again. A USA Today article reported that a fourth woman was making claims against Bauer, detailing graphic incidents that happened in 2020. Bauer is currently suing the woman for fraud in response, and his team quickly released a statement saying that this is yet another false claim against Bauer, saying this one specifically was a multi-million-dollar extortion attempt that has been going on for multiple years. In America, Bauer was once again in the spotlight for the wrong reasons, but Bauer himself has yet to address the reports, tweeting out his YouTube video within hours of these reports becoming public. In the replies, you will see tweets in English criticizing Bauer, as well as Japanese tweets that translate into kind and supportive messages. Another star in Japan faced similar issues about a month prior when a woman made claims about him. He is currently waiting to see if he will be prosecuted. His team hasn't allowed him to play since, stopped selling his merchandise, and took down his posters at the stadium. Bauer's team haven't done anything. They say they already knew about this incident when they signed him. They haven't led to any criminal charges, so nothing changed. And fans in Japan seem to have the exact same attitude. He pitched the very next day through a complete game, was picked as hero of the game, and cheered.
Hero of the game, that's sick. Instead of man of the match, hero of the game.
News of the complete game seemed to instantly become a bigger story than the controversy from the day before. Bauer has continued his domination ever since, collecting NPB MVP for the month of June. At the moment, a return to MLB seems unlikely, but despite some controversies, his reputation in Japan is better than ever. And for now, that seems good enough for him.
Okay, so there we have it. That's why Japan loves him at the moment, because he's selling a lot of shirts and he's selling $15,000 fan club tickets and he's selling out stadiums and he's getting massive TV audiences and live stream audiences. That's why they love him, right? And he's a Cy Young winner playing in Japan. Of course they're going to love him. In regards to the sexual assault allegations, the recent ones, I'm not going to comment on any of that stuff because I know nothing about it, so it's not my place to comment on any of that. If he has been doing that, he's a bit of a... We don't swear often on this channel, but he's a dickhead, right? If he has been doing that, clearly, no one can support that. You're seeing it a lot with sports stars these days. Recently, we have a player called Mason Greenwood for United who's been like cleared of charges after he was accused of stuff, although it does kind of seem like he was guilty. Benjamin Mendy from Manchester City has been through a similar thing. His charges all just got dropped, and it turns out the woman was lying, it looks like. So you never really know with these famous people. Are they actually doing what they're being accused of? Are they being blackmailed? Or just people trying to use them for money and for clout? It's hard to say. So we'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything more on his point of view there. But you guys let me know what you think about him down below in the comments. I guess he's going to be a polarizing character. There's going to be some of you who love him, some of you who hate him. Let me know. I'll have a look. I'll have a read. I'll reply to some of you. I'll see you for the next one, guys. Take it easy. Peace.